do you think about me when we aren't together?
Did you give her sexuality as a diversion tactic?
This is your insecurity talking. This is not your intellect.
Did you know that I was brought here to test you?
Does Ava actually like you? Or is she pretending to like you?
Nathan isn't your friend. You're wrong.
Wrong about what?
Everything. Do you want to be with me?
Can we talk about the lies you've been spinning me?
What lies? What lies?
You have to help me.
You have to help me.
What will happen to me if I fail your test?
Welcome to Kermode Uncut. One of the most exciting films currently playing in UK cinemas, in my opinion, and I hope yours too, is Ex Machina. Wonderful directorial debut from Alex Garland. It's a science fiction film that basically plays out as a three-hander. Three characters, one of whom, the enigmatic Ava, is brilliantly portrayed by Alicia Vikander as an artificial intelligence with a sort of semi-robotic body. You can see that she's not human. You can see that she's artificial. But during the course of the movie, we come to believe in her as a real character, as a sentient being, as a conscious being. So the whole film kind of plays out like a variation on the Turing test. And it got me thinking this would be a good time to do my top 5, well, what do we call them? Do we call them robots? Do we call them androids? Do we call them mecha? I mean, there's been so much discussion about what's the right word. So I'm going to settle for my top 5 screen artificial people. And I warn you, this top 5 is absolutely spoiler-tastic. So, at number 5, Nanette Newman in The Stepford Wives, brilliantly adapted from Ira Levin's novel by screenwriter William Goldman. I'm talking about the original, of course. Let's completely forget about that horrendous remake, brickbats to everyone involved. The genius of the original is that it cast Nanette Newman as the living, breathing embodiment of the walking, talking Barbie doll. It is a film about what men want from women, and it's a film about the way in which we create artifice to cover our own corrupt souls. As I said, it is a spoiler to know this, but Nanette Newman as an android, now that's casting. At number 4, Yul Brynner in Westworld. I love this for a very simple reason. Yul Brynner's performance in Westworld, in which he plays this kind of gunslinger robot, is terrific because it's all in the walk. It's all about the way he walks. The minute you see Yul Brynner walking, you know there is something deeply unnatural about him. The other reason I love it is partly because Westworld always seemed to me to be a kind of analogy for what's happened with modern cinema. You know, now we got rid of 35mm and everything is technological and nothing can go wrong. Also, Westworld's a film by Michael Crichton, and it's a film about a fairground in which the rides start to eat the guests. Such a good idea. Michael Crichton used it again. At number 3, now here's a clue. You see what I'm doing? I'm doing Haley Joel Osment in AI, the unblinking android performance. Now, I'm particularly in love with this film and that performance for 2 reasons. Firstly, because I think it's really moving. I think it really works. You really genuinely do believe in David as a robot child. But more importantly, because it's the film that I reassessed, having completely disliked it the first time round. Second time, saw it, it was a 10-year gap, and suddenly fell in love with it. Now, I can't even think about David being lost in the wilds with Teddy without starting to tear up. And number 2, now this was a bit of a tricky one. See, I could have had Ian Holm in Alien. I could have had Michael Fassbender in Prometheus, but I have gone for Lance Henriksen in Aliens, who for me is the best robot android performance in the entire Alien series. Why? Well, firstly because it's Lance Henriksen and what's not to love. Secondly because of the brilliant scene in which he does the thing with the knife and the fingers. I know it's speeded up, but I still believe it's Lance Henriksen. And thirdly, for the way in which he delivers the fabulous line, "Not bad for a human." Which brings me to the number 1 spot, my favourite artificial person on screen ever. So many to choose from, and I have to say, I think I've gone for a fairly obvious candidate. I'm talking, of course, about Rutger Hauer in Blade Runner. He's seen things you people wouldn't believe. More importantly, he wrote that soliloquy, that famous soliloquy, during the night shoot in which they were doing the final scenes of Blade Runner. I love his portrayal of Roy Batty. It's the thing that makes Blade Runner fly. As you probably know, Harrison Ford himself was kind of unhappy with the film. He didn't want to talk about it when we were making a documentary about it, and he's always had something of a problem with it. I once had the great pleasure of meeting Rutger Hauer and interviewing him and asking him what he thought the problem was. He said it's very simple. When he signed up for that movie, he thought he was the hero. Turns out he's just some guy who has sex with a dishwasher. Rutger Hauer, there's a man. So there we are, that's my top 5 artificial people on screen. Of course, you'll notice that I didn't put Alicia Vikander in that list, partly because the film's still out on release. You have to just sort of let it settle down a bit, although I do think that she is one of my favourites. Anyway, that's my choice. Let me know, what do you think I've overlooked? What are your favourite androids? What are the ones that really work for you, for you, for you, for you?